Hi everybody, Matt Lawton here, and this is the Astrological Winds channel. I'm going to take a look today at the astrological weather report for the week of July 29th going into August 4th, and I'm also going to look at the monthly report for August. And for the week, we've got three big things going on. Venus is going to go into Virgo, and then we've got a new moon next weekend on Sunday at 13 degrees Leo. And then we also, next Sunday, are the beginning of the Mercury retrograde period. And for the month, that's going to be one of the three things for the month. Also is Mercury retro from the 4th through the 27th. And then we also have Jupiter sesquiquadrate Pluto and Jupiter square Saturn for August. So that's what I'm going to talk about this week. First, a little business. The Astrological Winds channel is a free video blog that I do every week as a YouTube channel. And if you have a YouTube account and you like what you see, I would really like you to become a follower. Don't forget to turn your notifications on when you do, so that you know when the blog is posted or when I post other blogs even. And remember, it was a podcast long before it was a video YouTube channel, so it's still available on podcasts. Buzzsprout puts it out there. Just go to one of your favorite podcasts, look up Astrological Winds channel. You'll find it out there. Apple iPodcasts, there's about 20 of them that pick it up. Also, Astrological Winds channel has its own Instagram page. So if you're an Instagram person, please become a follower there too. Sometimes I post additional comments during the week on certain days there that you could be missing out. It's the only place I put them. And then that's not in video or audio format. It's just a sentence or two that you probably take a minute to read at the most. So you want to check out some extra info there. I also post the link on my Facebook account, which is a private account under my name, Matthew Lawton, L-A-U-T-E-N, so you can friend me and it will show up in your newsreel every week. The other place you can always find it is on my website, www.astrologicalwinds.com, not Winds channel, Winds. And I embed every blog there. You can go back to blogs from earlier in the year that are there too, and some of my special blogs, like I just did one on Biden stepping down and out of the race and how that's part of the Mars-Uranus conjunction makeup. So some interesting stuff on the website. I do a calendar there, and that's also where all my professional services are listed on a menu. I've been a professional astrologer for over 20 years. I was trained for 7 years. Would love to do your chart or someone else's chart. I have a lot of other services available too. If you're someone who's really into astrology and wanting to know it more on a monthly or weekly or daily basis, like a business person who sees that kind of value, get in touch with me. Go to the website, get in touch. I do all kinds of services like that. I also have group services, classes. Everything you need to know is there. If it's not within the constraints of your budget, I can work with you. It doesn't hurt to drop me an email. My email is right there, matthue823@gmail.com, or there's a direct link on the website. And remember, if you support the blog right now, every $5 that you give through Venmo or Cash App, you get a chance to win a free reading at the end of this quarter. And so that's, a real nice value there. Every $5 you put in gets you a chance. It does cost me a little money to run the blog. I'd really love to have some patrons out there really helping me out. I know that there's hundreds of you, at least, that watch the blog and listen to the blog every week. So when you have an extra few bucks, please help me out. And if you're ready for that reading, which you all, I hope, have had a professional reading done and know your charts well, I really hope that you're at least at that point if you've been watching my blog this long, because it's so important. It's your life. It's your life. And if you want self-empowerment and self-fulfillment and you want to reach your potential, then you better start getting on working on that stuff, and working with it so it's not working against you. Anyway, get in touch. Okay, let's get to this blog here. I'm going to do the week first. And so there's 3 or 4 things I want to mention this week. And like I said, there's the big ones there. There's a couple smaller ones. It starts on Tuesday. tomorrow when Venus trines Chiron. And this is a really sweet aspect. This is like brings healing energy to relationships, basically. We can really like feel like we're in the flow with other people, and we're willing to give and receive support for one another. We're good listeners, we're good responders, we're sensitive to each other's needs, we have a good attitude about wanting to, help each other out. This is also, I've noticed over the years, this is really good for like almost like healing methods that are like almost artistic in a way. Like, you know what I mean? Like all these different healing methods that have come up in the new age of healing since the 70s. It's a really good time to implement stuff like that too, because usually that requires relationship kind of energy. So it's really good for healing, bringing in those healing arts that can be helpful to us. And so, yeah, and then I'm going to jump all the way to Friday, and it's Venus again on Friday, and it's Venus is going to square Uranus on Friday going into the weekend. So to me, when Venus squares Uranus, there's a dichotomy. I've been doing astrology for so many years, you guys, so I'm so clear the way this stuff works, and there, to me, Venus squaring Uranus is about relationships, and like it can go two ways, and really what we see is there's like rebellion. There's a need to be an individual within relationships, the need to be able to be ourselves, to have the freedom still within the context of a relationship to still be ourselves and not get lost and feel like our whole lives has become someone else. So what happens when Venus squares Uranus is we can get very rebellious against old relationships, ones that we feel are restricting us in any way. And this is our perception. It may not even be what the other person is doing, or it could be too. We may be tired of that, but like what it does is it can cause a blow up in those kind of relationships, and it can get stuff out on the floor for you. It can be like, hey, this is where we're at, and either we need to move on and accept these truths and be able to give each other some more ability to be free within this relationship, or I just need to separate myself from this. And so it can be a relationship of an aspect of sudden, separations too. Then the other part of it that I've seen is it's really about wanting something new in relationships, right? That's all about what this energy is. It wants stimulation. It wants excitement. So if it can't find it in a new relationship, it's going to go and find it. In an old relationship, it's going to go and find it in a new relationship. And that's where it can be a good aspect. It can bring very stimulating, exciting people into our lives all of a sudden that like really spark us up, wake us up, get us out of bed, and we're like, excited about something. So, sometimes those relationships can be very short term. They can be like two ships in the night that are just meant to, do some pass to each other along that path. But a lot of times they can be a completely new, different kind of person that you connect with and brings you so much new stimulation and growth and information that you're just so excited about it. Now, this can also get us into different types of art that we're normally not into. Like if we're an artist, we might, break through some new barriers, or we just might get into like different types of art that we normally aren't into if we're someone who enjoys art. And it can usually be a lot edgier, a little bit like more challenging, maybe a little bit more black and white shadowy stuff, but yeah. And then the other thing to be aware of with Venus square Uranus is just be aware of your money and how you're spending it, because we can be very impulsive with our money with Venus here, and going into a weekend too, don't run up the bar tab until you don't have anything to bring home, you know what I mean? So it's like you can be very impulsive with money, especially when it's exciting and fun and that kind of thing, and then realize afterwards, whoops, I didn't leave enough to, buy a gallon of milk or whatever, so don't want to get into that situation. And also, no crazy investments. If it looks crazy and far-fetched, it is, right? Okay, that sounds good. Okay, and then I'm going to move now to Sunday. And before we talk about the new moon and Mercury retrograde that is going on Sunday. There's a couple more things with Venus first. The first thing is Venus. Remember Neptune right at the end. We went retrograde a few weeks ago, so it's right at the end of Pisces, sitting there at about the 29th, 30th degree, not moving very quick because it's Neptune. So Venus right at the end of its sign and getting ready to, in Leo, and getting ready to go into Virgo, is basically going to form a quincunx with Neptune. And the danger about Venus quincunx Neptune is that we can get really rose-colored glasses about our loved ones and really sweep all the issues that we see under the rug. And ultimately what that can lead to is disappointment, because we're not being realistic about the way they are, so I think that's one of the big things. It can spark our imagination and inspiration and give us some artistic things, but we can be very disappointed or discouraged when we realize how far our loved ones are not hitting our ideals. And sometimes too, like we may literally realize we have to let certain people go, release them. Once again, separation energy, somehow kind of make that adjustment. But it feels like, like we just have to sacrifice too much of ourselves and our ideals sometimes to make those connections. And sometimes we even settle for people who are a lower vibration than us with this, because it's almost like we expect them at that point not to live up to our ideals, so it's not quite as disappointing. So it's a very odd thing, vibe earlier Sunday. And then Venus will go into Virgo right after that. And so when Venus is in Virgo, traditionally, this is not a happy place for Venus. Venus is the planet of love and relationships, right? And when it goes into Virgo, it's what we call traditionally in fall, right? Which is one of the weak spots that it in. And why? Because Venus in Virgo believes that in order to get that love, in order to get relationships, it needs to serve others. It subordinates itself to others. It feels like it's not worthy of love unless it's serving others. And that can be a really hard place to be, We have to be really careful, too, when Venus goes into Virgo, because we are constantly making judgments of people in our head, and we can see how they don't reach up their ideals. We can see all their faults, and we can get very critical with people. And that's part of the problem with Venus in Virgo, too, and why it's in fall. It ends up driving people off when you get critical. So you get like this two-headed monster of really needing love and giving too much of yourself for it, giving too much of yourself away, going into your not self, right? To do that, and then like all of a sudden feeling really, wow, like this is nothing like I want it to be, and getting really judgmental and driving those people off anyway. So you can see why Venus has a really difficult time in Virgo. It just really does, we just underestimate our own self-worth. We subordinate ourselves to others, and then we get stuck in this very negative mindset about it and get very judgmental and critical. Now, this is a time where we can use it to beautify our surroundings in the sense of perfecting them to the point where we really want them to be. Venus also has that, artistic part of it and that flair. And this is a time where we can perfect the things that we're artistic about, and so if we're we can look around our environment and make things a little bit more perfect of the way we want them to be, so yeah. And this is also a time too where we're really, really good about discipline with our health and our body, where we can be like, hey, I know I can't go overboard with this stuff. This is stuff I need to take care of. So real good, real interesting energy there. But, just don't get caught into that trap when Venus is in Virgo of thinking that's the only way you deserve love, as if you're just constantly giving to others, So it's just not true. So now we're going to go to the big thing of the week, and that's that new moon at 13 degrees Leo. So you remember, a new moon is when the moon and sun are conjunct one another. So you want to go to your chart right now and look where 13 degrees Leo is, right? And that's going to be the house which will represent the area of your life where you're going to see new beginnings. New moon's always about new beginnings. This is where we can start new things, right? And so this new moon is in Leo, and that's all about our own creativity. This is a time to really push our own creativity, our own projects, where we need and want to get attention. We need and want to get love. We need and want to get respect. So we use our will, the sun, Leo, to push for that, And that's really good, as long as we don't get too arrogant and too prideful and egotistical and then stubborn about where we're at. But, and then we get resistance from other people, but we are very honest and open when we're in Leo, and it is a call for us to use our talents now, to use the creativity we have now and spark it up and get it out there. Don't sit back anymore. Bring it out to the world, right? This is that time. And to also understand that everybody needs love. Everybody needs respect. Everybody needs attention, and we'll go for the arrogant and pride and egotistical negative stuff if we don't get it positively, right? But we'll also understand that everybody has a unique talent and gift that's really, on a societal level, everybody needs to contribute that uniqueness to make society the best, to become the kings of our own kingdom, right? So this is what we really want to do with this energy. We really want to fire up the creative spark. And we want to, and so Leo energy is very playful, it's youthful, it's childlike. It wants to, keep pushing and exploring and creating and bringing that in and expressing itself. Interesting too, the sun is the ruler of this new moon. So it really is like, it's the new moon itself is ruling itself. There's, very strong energy to push our ambitions, to do what we want to do, to shine now, right? And what's really cool too, the aspects going on with this one are all good ones too. It's a trine to the north node. So this is a time where not only can we bring out that creative spark, but there's other people that are out there that we can work with it. We can form creative groups around projects and really forward it. And it's the type of thing too where it's really good when you can work in a group with a similar objective, right? But if everybody can't keep up with one another, it's also the kind of energy where you can take it alone and work on your part alone and then all come back together and put those parts. So each person is working on the part that their creative talent is best suited for, and then it'd be difficult for others to keep up with them, right? So then everybody does that in their little thing, and then they come back together as a group, and it's this amazing creative force, right? That just is such a nice flowing trine. So this is really what I want to do now, is line up those ambitions, your goals, your creativity with those groups, and then double sextile too. Coming off a sextile to Mars and going into a sextile to Jupiter, as they're going to conjunct one another in the next couple weeks. So coming off the sextile to Mars shows that we're really fired up about this stuff. It's the same thing. It just matches that Leo energy. It really does. It gets us really fired up about our own projects, and it gives us the ability, just like the North Node, to find people that we can work with cohesively, cooperatively, as a group, and each one knows their individual part, can be a leader in that part, and then that's creating opportunity, right? That's creating opportunity, and we can take risks now, too. Risks that we have the courage to know that this is a good risk to take, and that we can carry the day, that we can push that energy. And then it just becomes so beautiful. The plying aspect is the sextile to Jupiter. If we work this stuff, we're going to get benefits from it. We're going to create new opportunities. It should bring in new financial opportunities, more money, benefits through friends, benefits through groups. This is a really, really potent new moon to work with, you guys. This moon is just about pushing all your creative talent, right? But within the group context and getting it out to the public now. It has great potential for future growth and can be very satisfactory to the creative self. Go for it. Go for it. Okay, Mercury is going to go retrograde same day, and it retrograding at 4 degrees of Virgo on August 4th, and then will not go direct until August 27th, right? So it's going to spend about half its time in Virgo, and then the other half of its time in Leo for this retrograde period, and it will not, let me see what I got here, let me just take a look real quick. It's not going to go back into Virgo until September 10th. So it'll go back into Leo on the 15th, and then back into, go direct on the 27th, and then back into Virgo on the 10th. So what I really think is going to happen, you know how Mercury retrograde is, you guys. If you've been watching the blog, you know a little bit of astrology. Expect delays, expect communication misunderstandings, expect transportation issues, expect projects to go off track. Anything that you're expecting will come out in an unexpected way. And if we can have that right attitude, then that's how we stay with the flow of it. We don't start new things, right? We actually we think about things. So in this case, with Mercury starting in Virgo, it's like, listen, take care of details. The things that are going to set up a lot of this Mercury retrograde problems for this period is meaning that we didn't take care of certain details on the creative projects that we've been thinking about for the past month or so. Well, Mercury and all this other Leo energy has been going on. We've probably been getting a lot of grand visions and ideas, right? And so this Mercury in Virgo is like, whoa, hold on a second. All these issues are coming up because we haven't taken care of the details yet. So during this Mercury retro period, that's what we want to do. We want to look at those details. We want to look at those creative visions that we're coming up with and start hammering away, at least on the inside, at what those details are. That would really be the best way to handle that period, this period of Mercury retrograde, because, we're going to find out, like, if we're getting too, like, big about the picture, that all these little things are going to trip us up and slow us down. Now, 2 other things I want to talk about really quick for the month of August. On August 7th, there is a Jupiter sesquiquadrate Pluto. And this is a really frustrating aspect, you guys. This, and it's coinciding with the Mercury retrograde. So this may be part of the problem, Mercury retrograde, this period. This is having our plans blocked by those who have power over us. And it can get us really angry inside. Like, just feeling like our ambition, our road to success is being blocked by authorities or other people who have power over us, and it's really just stuck right now, especially with the Mercury retro. So once again, what we need to do is bring it in right now and kind of contemplate how we can approach maybe another way, or just wait it out, wait for a situation to change. The other thing Jupiter sesquiquadrate Pluto is any situation or thing that you have that is falling into a state of repair, it's probably going to completely just, go down on you. And so this is a, thing where some situation or something around you that you need to take care of, that you need to deal with whatever repairs need to be made in that situation. But, we just also may have a lot of contemplation during this Mercury retro with the Jupiter sesquiquadrate Pluto about how maybe some of our values and ethics are not properly aligning with what we're trying to do, and that there may be some conflict out there that we may not be as enlightened as we think we are. So we might have some inner soul stuff to look at during that time too. And the other last aspect I want to mention, August 20th, Jupiter square Saturn retrograde. So they've been in this cycle since that great conjunction right around the solstice of winter solstice of 2020 when they conjuncted one another. And so now they've reached a square point, and this can be a really frustrating point. This is like some stuff that we thought we were going to build up back then, and now it's reached a point where we need to make some adjustments. We can see that certain things are not working right. Certain circumstances, maybe certain people, certain standards of behavior that are not measuring up to what is going on with reality, like people not meeting their duties, whatever it may do, but it's bringing a lot of tension, a lot of confusion as to what to do now, like a great restless feeling. And really, what the challenge of this square is to know what to let go of and what to keep moving forward on, what I call like separating the wheat from the chaff. What are we there's a lot of uncertainty, and we might not be clear about what that is. And the problem is right now we want to push, but we really can't be pushing. The Mercury retrograde, the sesquiquadrate, and the square with Saturn all are saying patience is the key right now. That you have to that if you can do things in a step-by-step manner, instead of trying to resolve every problem in a malice storm, then you're going to know what you need to do as you go along in that step-by-step manner. Now listen, this is a really key time for businesses too. Like any business project that's been working on, this is a time of great tension in it, and you have to be conservative right now. You have to accept the limits of where things are at right now, or otherwise pushing it is just going to throw it into even a more critical point, So it's really a time where, once again, you want to be a little bit conservative, want things to play out slowly, try to stay present. Your answers will reveal themselves as you go along like that. If you fly off the handle, especially in a time where things are changing very rapidly right now, you can find out that you actually disabled a lot of the stability in what you were trying to build up. All right, that was a lot to pack in this week and this month, you guys. Been slowly adjusting the blog. I know that the sound quality is still not the greatest. Still trying to figure out other ways to improve it, but I'm not happy with some of these improvements now. All right, so that's what I got for y'all this week. Let's use that new moon this week for sure to get that creative energy going and getting it out there, bringing your part to it, getting the group that you need around that is just so potent there. But remember, the Mercury retro, the Venus in Virgo, these two Jupiter transits are going to slow things down in August, and it's going to be a time of coming back in and really taking care of the stuff, the details in our plans, and waiting for situations to develop to get the answers that we need so that we can start to move forward again come September. All right, this is Matt Lawton. This is the Astrological Winds channel. This is a free video blog I do on YouTube every week. I'd really like you to become a follower. It's a free service, and what I really, really need you to do right now is you're going to pass that link along to somebody else, even if you've done it before. If you do want to give me a donation, here's my Venmo handle, and my Cash App handle is just the $ with Matthew Lawton with no hyphen. Every $5 you give right now, at the end of this quarter, I'm going to do a raffle, give someone a free reading. So if you can support me on that level, that's great. The best way to support me is to go to my website, www.astrologicalwinds.com. Look at my professional services menu. When you need that reading, or when someone else needs that reading, and we all need it. I'm telling you guys, if you don't know your chart, you're blocking yourself from your own ability, for your own potential. I really need to get it done. And so, like, if you're ready for that, check the website out. The menu's there. I'll work with you in your financial constraints, and we'll figure out something if it's beyond your means. If you're a corporate person or a business person and want more detailed readings, I work one-on-one as an EA with people too on those levels. Please get in touch with me. Can really help change a lot of your business and stuff around, just getting the timing and things done. So check all that stuff out. Remember, it's also available on podcasts. Just look up Astrological Winds Channel. It's on Instagram too, Facebook. You got to friend me, right? And the website has everything embedded in it. You can go back. Don't forget to check out that 15-minute blog I did on the Mars-Uranus conjunction and Biden stepping out. If you're really into astrology, that'll show you how stuff works over years in a cycle. It'll just blow your mind. Anyway, love all you guys. Thank you for your support, no matter how small or large it is. I appreciate all of you, and I will see you all next week, and we'll take a look at the weather report for the week of August 5th through 12th. I think it's a relatively quiet week. Maybe we'll talk more about that Mercury retrograde. Okay, I'll see y'all then.